Good evening and welcome back to another episode of The Longing, where today we will be continuing to read the Iliad by Homer. So, let's get going. And we are on the last book. The Judgment of Paris. If equal honours by the partial skies are doomed, both hero Juno thus replies. If Thetis' son must no distinction know, then hear ye gods, the patron of the bow. But bow, actually, I suppose. But Hector only boasts a mortal claim, his birth deriving from a mortal dame. Achilles of your own ethereal race springs from a goddess by a man's embrace. A goddess by ourself to Peleus given, a man divine and chosen friend of heaven. To grace those nuptials from the bright abode, yourselves were present where this minstrel god, well pleased to share the feast amid the choir, stood proud to him and tune his youthful lyre. Then thus the thunderer checks the imperial dame, let not thy wrath the court of heaven inflame. Their merits nor their honours are the same, but mine and every god's peculiar grace. Hector deserves of all the Trojan race. Still on our shrines his grateful offerings lay, the only honours men to gods can pay. Nor ever from our smoking altar ceased the pure libation and the holy feast. Howe'er by stealth to snatch the corse away, we will not, Thetis guards it night and day. But haste and summon to our courts above the azure queen, let her persuasion move, her furious son from Priam to receive, the proffered ransom and the course to leave. He added not, and Iris from the skies, swift as a whirlwind on the message flies. Meteorous the face of ocean sweeps, refulgent gliding o'er the sable deeps, between where Samos wide his forest spreads, and rocky Imbrus lifts its pointed heads. Down plunged the maid, the parted waves resound, she plunged and instant shot the dark profound. As bearing death in the fallacious bait, from the bent angle sinks the leaden weight. So passed the goddess through the closing wave, where Thetis sorrowed in her secret cave. There placed amidst her melancholy train the blue-haired sisters of the sacred main. Pensive she sat, revolving fates to come, and wept her godlike son's approaching doom. Then thus the goddess of the painted bow, arise, O Thetis, from thy seats below. 'Tis Jove that calls, and why the dame replies, calls Jove his Thetis to the hated skies. Sad object as I am for heavenly sight, ah, may my sorrows ever shun the light. Howe'er be heaven's almighty sire obeyed, she spake and veiled her head in sable shade, which flowing long her graceful person clad, and forth she paced, majestically sad. Then through the world of waters they repair, the wayfair Iris led to upper air. The deeps dividing o'er the coast they rise, and touch with momentary flight the skies. There in the lightning's blaze the sire they found, and all the gods in shining synod round. Thetis approached with anguish in her face, Minerva rising gave the mourner place. Even Juno sought her sorrows to console, and offered from her hand the nectar bowl. She tasted and resigned it, then began, the sacred sire of gods and mortal man. Thou com'st, fair Thetis, but with grief o'ercast, maternal sorrows long are long to last. Suffice we know, and we partake thy cares, but yield to fate and hear what Jove declares. Excuse me. 9 days are past since all the court above in Hector's cause have moved the ear of Jove. 'Twas voted Hermes from his godlike foe by stealth should bear him, but we willed not so. We will thy son himself the course restore, and to his conquest add this glory more. Then hie thee to him and our mandate bear. Tell him he tempts the wrath of heaven too far, nor let him more our anger if he dread, vent his mad vengeance on the sacred dead. But yield to ransom and the father's prayer. The mournful father Iris shall prepare, with gifts to sue and offer to his hands, whate'er his honour asks or heart demands. His word the silver-footed queen attends, and from Olympus' snowy tops descends. Arrived she heard the voice of loud lament, and echoing groans that shook the lofty tent. Excuse me. His friends prepare the victim and dispose, repast unheeded while he vents his woes. The goddess seats her by her pensive son. She pressed his hand and tender thus begun. How long, unhappy, shall thy sorrows flow, and thy heart waste with life-consuming woe? Mindless of food or love whose pleasing reign soothes weary life and softens human pain. O snatch the moments yet within thy power, not long to live, indulge the amorous hour. Lo, Jove himself, for Jove's command I bear, forbids to tempt the wrath of heaven too far. No longer then his fury, if thou dread, detain the relics of great Hector dead, nor vent on senseless earth thy vengeance vain, but yield to ransom and restore the slain. To whom, Achilles, be the ransom given, and we submit, since such the will of heaven. While thus they communed from the Olympian bowers, Jove orders Iris to the Trojan towers. Haste, winged goddess, to the sacred town, and urge her monarch to redeem his son. Alone the Ilian ramparts let him leave, and bear what stern Achilles may receive. Alone, for so we will no Trojan near, except to place the dead with decent care. Some aged herald who with gentle hand may the slow mules and funeral car command. Nor let him death, nor let him danger dread, safe through the foe by our protection led. Him Hermes to Achilles shall convey, guard of his life and partner of his way. Fierce as he is, Achilles' self shall spare, his age nor touch one venerable hair. Some thought there must be in a soul so brave, some sense of duty, some desire to save. Iris advises Priam to obtain the body of Hector. Then down her bow the winged Iris drives, and swift at Priam's mournful court arrives, where the sad sons beside their father's throne sat bathed in tears and answered groan with groan. And all amidst them lay the hoary sire, sad scene of woe, his face, his wrapped attire. Concealed from sight with frantic hands he spread a shower of ashes o'er his neck and head. From room to room his pensive daughters roam, whose shrieks and clamours fill the vaulted dome. Mindful of those who late their pride and joy lie pale and breathless round the fields of Troy. Before the king Jove's messenger appears, and thus in whispers greets his trembling ears. And with that we come to the end of the episode. So I will say thank you very much for joining today. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon or night, no matter what time of day it is. Hope you have a wonderful one of it, and as always, we will be back tomorrow for more of The Longing. Goodbye.